It's not about two individuals. It's about the idea of competence versus chaos, or even greater, freedom versus fascism.
Eric Swalwell has a reputation as one of the Democratic Party's best communicators. But why is he so effective? Take a look at this interview he just gave on MSNBC. It shows the 4 key techniques that he uses to take advantage of every media opportunity to get the maximum impact. Right away, we can see the first technique that Swalwell is using here, pivoting. I don't mean swiveling. What I mean is connecting the topic you're on to the one you want to get to. In this case, getting from the murder of Alexei Navalny to a condemnation of Trump and the entire Republican Party. Watch Swalwell do it really well in about 45 seconds.
You and I look at a dictator like Vladimir Putin, and we see a ruthless, ruthless man, and Donald Trump sees a mirror. Donald Trump has said that he will go on this retribution tour. He'll be a dictator when he comes into office. It's not a coincidence at all that in the same week that Donald Trump invited Russia to attack NATO, that Mike Johnson refuses to pass the Senate's Ukraine aid, and a journalist in Tucker Carlson goes over and interviews Putin and doesn't ask him at all about Navalny, that Putin would do this. It's not a coincidence.
Now that he's gotten the focus of the story onto Trump and the Republicans, he applies technique number 2, reframing. The host sets up a question about foreign aid packages and continuing resolutions.
Boring.
Not on the key message that Swalwell wants to convey. So what he does in this clip is he reframes the issue. You can tell that a reframing is going on when someone says, it's not about this, it's about this.
Part of the problem is they can't seem to walk and chew gum at the same time while we're dealing with aid packages. We're looking as Americans at another looming government shutdown. March 1st is right around the corner. Is it just going to be yet another continuing resolution, do you think?
It's not that they can't walk and chew gum. They can't walk and follow Trump at the same time. Donald Trump, he doesn't want funding for Ukraine, wants to sabotage the border, doesn't want us to fund the government at all because they want to shut down the government because they think it makes Biden look bad. And so, yes, it is chaotic. What House Democrats have shown, I think Joe Biden has shown, is competence, that we want to get things done, that we want to govern, they want to ruin.
It's not about those specific problems. It's about the larger issue of Trump and MAGA Republicans being chaos monsters. He even gets the host to spin it right back to him.
Competence versus chaos and what it could deliver to the American people.
That gets to technique number 3. Have the soundbite you want ready to go. Now, this can go wrong. For example, you might remember when Hillary Clinton tried to do it in her debate against Donald Trump, and SNL mocked her mercilessly because it was so artificial.
As my best friend Michelle Obama once said, when they go low, you go high. God, I love that quote. Almost as memorable as when I said trumped up trickle-down economics.
Look, that was some of Clinton's challenge, right? Extraordinarily intelligent, very able, but not the most natural politician.
I'd like to begin tonight by attempting a casual lean.
So it's super important if you have a soundbite ready to go like Michelle Obama's that it feel organic and authentic. In this clip, Swalwell takes a kind of messy, confusing setup from the host and has it flow naturally into a great soundbite.
These polls, they can come and go, and the odds can be different, but the stakes are what really count. Yeah. Is that the same thing that's happening right now in D.C.?
Yes, and that's what we need to make this upcoming election about. It's not about two individuals. I'll take the individual who's 81 over the guy who has 91 felony counts. It's not about two individuals. It's about the idea of competence versus chaos, or even greater, freedom versus fascism.
And that gets us to the final technique. And at the very end of this interview, Swalwell comes right out and says it.
The best thing we can do, as I said, is lean in, play on their side of the field, go on offense.
Play on their side of the field. When Republicans tried to attack Merrick Garland for not obeying a subpoena, Swalwell could have spent a lot of time defending, but instead he attacked their hypocrisy.
Mr. Attorney General, my colleague just said that you should be held in contempt of Congress, and that is quite rich, because the guy who's leaving the hearing room right now, Mr. Jordan, is about 500 days into evading his subpoena. About 500 days.
When Matt Gaetz tried to pull a political stunt to embarrass Democrats, Swalwell used all 4 techniques.
Mr. Gaetz wanted to offer an amendment to say the Pledge of Allegiance. Every single person on our side supported that. But who did he bring in here to say the Pledge of Allegiance? Corey Beekman is arrested and charged with murder, assault with the intent to commit murder, and 2 counts of felony firearm possession. That's where the trust deficit is. So you can play your games, conduct your stunts, We're here to get shit done.
He went on offense. He pivoted the topic from what Democrats were doing to what Republicans were doing. He reframed that this is actually about the larger issue, that Republicans are about stunts and chaos while Democrats get stuff done. And then, of course, have a solid soundbite to finish it off. Look, I know this was an MSNBC interview with a host lobbing softballs, but there's a reason baseball players take batting practice. Democrats should be knocking opportunities like this out of the park and getting more singles and doubles when the playing field is tougher.